Hello there, I'm Big Alias. It's time to talk about Black Ops 6. The game's been out for a while now, almost a year, and this is my capped off review. It's not going to be my last ever video about Black Ops 6, but I do this every year where I do one review at the start of the year, and then I'll cap it off with a final review towards the end of the run of the game, because essentially all the discourse around Call of Duty is around Black Ops 7 currently. So we're almost done with the Black Ops 6 era. So let's do a round off review. Just so you know, in this instance, I probably won't be talking about the campaign very much. I won't be talking about the campaign. My opinion hasn't changed on that. I thought it was very good. I remember when I reviewed this game back when it came out, I think I gave it an 8. I was actually really impressed with Black Ops 6. And a lot of the reason for that was the solid campaign. I thought the campaign was absolutely excellent. I like the way that they sort of messed around with the formula in terms of gameplay. I thought it was a great story. I thought we had some of the best missions, in Call of Duty history, frankly. And I love their sort of commitment to getting whacking off the wall to the point where it felt like a Remedy game. But this time they actually nailed it rather than in Black Ops 3 with all that forest stuff. So yeah, I liked the campaign then, and I still like the campaign now. In terms of zombies, I didn't really play it all that much. I played it a little bit, and I remember it being pretty good. But the multiplayer, that's what I'm here to sort of talk about. Interesting. So when this came out, like I said, I did give this game quite a positive, glowing review, and I stand by that review. I definitely stand by that review. Part of the reason, again, was because the campaign was so good, but also because this multiplayer, it was not like anything groundbreaking, but it felt great. I loved Omni movement, and I thought the suite of maps were good. Classic Prestige was back, and my overall feeling was that, like, okay, well, this is just a solid Call of Duty experience. And I do stand by that review. I think when this game launched, this was just a classic, good, solid Call of Duty experience, and there's nothing else to really read into it. Do I think things have changed? Yes. And I think it's definitely noteworthy how different this experience is to how it was when it first came out. So I will say this, it is still, I think, a game that I've liked a lot this year, because, to be honest with you, I've never leveled more in a Call of Duty game in my entire life. I reached level 10th Prestige. I reached 10th Prestige in this game, and I think I even did a few levels above that. I think I even went up to like level 100. But the grind got so intense, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, I did. I leveled a lot in this game because I did enjoy it. I still think the Omni movement is excellent, and I really don't want it to go anywhere in future Call of Duty games. I want to keep Omni movement. I think it functions really well. It's something that you can master over time, but something that's very accessible to most people. I like the movement overall, although that bleeds into some issues I'm going to have later. And I just think that the gameplay overall was stellar. Lots of maps, and that's great, and with some fairly good map variation. I do think artistically they maybe did more with the maps in the past, but I still, appreciated the ones that we had. However, obviously there are elephants in the room. There are always two issues that the internet has with Call of Duty that I haven't aligned with over the past few years. One of them is skill-based matchmaking, and I still feel like in terms of skill-based matchmaking, like, I can see why it would be annoying to you and how it could make games feel quite samey, but in terms of me, I don't know, it never really bugs me, it never annoyed me, and honestly it still kind of doesn't. It doesn't bother me. And the other thing was skins. I was always one of those people who said, like, look, I understand that it can be annoying to see weird skins, but if I see you, I'm just going to try to kill you. I'm not going to pay attention to your skin. It doesn't bother me, and it didn't until now. Until now with Black Ops 6, because even I, someone who has been making this argument for a while. I remember I was making similar arguments even back in the days of Battlefield 5, when I was saying, look, if you're in a multiplayer game where someone's 360 no-scoping, it doesn't matter if someone's playing as a woman. And by the way, I was totally right about that. I went back to Battlefield 5 a few years back, and you could not tell that there were female soldiers on the field. But anyway, that's a different video that I'm probably not going to make, because there's no point. But yeah, in terms of this, I've always been like a sort of advocate for, well, it's not immersive anyway. It's an online shooter, it's an arena shooter. Why Why would it bother me? But I remember I was playing Black Ops 6 and I saw a giant turtle, and I did think, okay, I remember the moment thinking, okay, maybe, yeah, they might have jumped the shark a bit. And not even jumped the shark because there was no positive momentum, but this is not okay. I'm not okay with this, actually. And this does kind of take me out of the game. And it's weird. It's this intangible thing where, again, I don't think it's an immersion thing. I don't think Call of Duty was ever immersive. Certainly not Black Ops 6. What with all the movement and speed and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know, it's a clash. And when I saw Beavis and Butthead and American Dad, you know, I was okay with like the Squid Game people and the doll kill streak and stuff like that. That didn't bother me. I was even okay with the Seth Rogen stuff because that's a guy. But when it came to, you know, you see these cartoon characters running around, that is an issue for me. And I will say that, you know, there has been some feedback. They are saying, okay, well, we've noticed that you want a gritty experience with Battlefield 6, as if that was what triggered them. Like, oh, we were selling skins and making billions off it, but if Battlefield 6 is going to be different, I guess we'll make a change too. Yeah, bullshit. They're just in the backlash and outcry and the lack of interest that people have in Black Ops 7 because of the skins of Black Ops 6. But yeah, I do think that in this instance it has kind of gone in the way of the experience for me. Yeah, I know that when I go into the game I'm gonna see the dumbest shit, and I kind of always felt that way with Call of Duty, but this just feels like a bridge too far. It's hard to explain, but I do agree that I think they went too far with the skins. But also I think that there's another issue of identity that I don't really see many people talking about, and I think this is my big issue with the game now, despite the fact that I did play so much of it, and I do think the core elements are fantastic still. I think this game still has excellent gameplay and the guns are a lot of fun to shoot, but I just think there is a huge issue with identity with this game, and it's kind of the opposite issue to the issue that a lot of people had with Modern Warfare, where I just think that like this, and it does feed into the skins approach, this game is like afraid of taking itself seriously, so much so that the gameplay experience that it provides you is not really the Call of Duty experience. I mean, the Call of Duty experience was that a bunch of people are thrown into an arena and you're like tasked with finding people, getting the drop on them and taking them out before they can take you. You know, it's a simple formula, it's Call of Duty. But I feel like the experience now, particularly with Black Ops 6, and I didn't even feel this way with like games like Vanguard or Cold War or anything like that, but I think the experience with Black Ops 6 feels like this, like, I don't know, progression farming experience where there's a lot of focus on getting people into like tiny maps with the fastest speed possible, with the highest kill count that you can possibly get, with lots of things like flashing in front of you and constant challenges and things to unlock and a billion different camos and 1,000 different guns and 50 different gun variations for this one gun, and you're thrown into like the smallest arena and tasked with farming as much XP as possible. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but that's how I feel about this game, and I'll admit that I fell into that too. I definitely spent like hours on that tiny house map just farming as much XP as possible. I know that I reached 10th prestige in this game, and I probably did put more time into this game than any other Call of Duty game, but I definitely think that like if it wasn't for the reliance on XP farming, you could probably honestly knock a couple of prestiges off of that. I spent a lot of time just like on double XP weekends, and the double XP felt constant as well. There were eras where like for a month every weekend you would have double XP. And you would go in with double XP to the smallest map you've ever seen, a map the size of a postage stamp, and just rack up like 30 kills and then see how much XP you get from that. And that felt like the quote-unquote vibe of the game. And I think that's the game losing its identity a little bit. I think it invested just a little bit too much in dopamine hits, I guess. But I think it's a bit pejorative just to refer to it as that. I think like just farming progression and watching, you know, the number go up, which is something that I'm honestly a fan of in gaming. I think this might have been the most extreme limit of that. So I hope that they kind of pull back a bit on that when it comes to Black Ops 7, to be honest with you. All in all, I think, yeah, this was a good game that started out as like a solid Call of Duty experience and then just lost its identity towards the end. It's a shame, really, because the core elements that are there are good, but I don't know. I don't know how to read this ending of the game, but it doesn't have me hopeful for Black Ops 7. This feels like a trend, and it feels like the direction that the series is heading in, for at least for a bit. So we'll see how things go. Anyway, that's my thoughts, my end of the year thoughts on Black Ops 6. I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.